Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's workshop. We're chatting all about routines for success. And before I even get started, I have to be honest and tell you that I have really mixed emotions about this topic, which you may be asking, well, then why the heck did you do this topic? And I did it because it draws a lot of people, and a lot of people want to be successful and they want to know routines to be successful. So I think it's really important to also talk about what makes me hesitant about this topic so we can start to change the conversation. And we were chatting a little bit earlier with some of the people that are in on this live workshop talking about the hustle culture. And I'm going to be talking about that in today's workshop as well, because so many things that motivate us and drive us to success, to fame, to money are not always rooted in the right things. So I'm going to dive right in, but I want to acknowledge you for being here and for taking the time out of your busy day, your busy schedule, to really focus on you. Because if you take one thing from this workshop, I am happy, and I truly do these workshops to share with you everything that I know so that hopefully I can make your journey a little bit easier and can share with you things that have worked for me. So please stay in touch. Send me messages on Instagram and on Facebook. On Instagram, my Instagram is I am Vanessa O, and I love hearing how these tips and tools work for you. Okay, so I also am really big on journaling. Before we get into this entire workshop, I want to acknowledge you as an individual. And it's so easy. I do business and mindset coaching, right? And it's so easy for people who are coaching on business to say, this is how to be successful. And what I'm going to do throughout this presentation is I want to pose questions and I want to get you thinking, because the only person that knows what's right for you is you. And I want to make sure that you create a lifestyle, you create a business, and you create a world that works for you, and so that you are happy and find peace and freedom and joy and love. That's at the core. That's everything that I always teach. I want you to feel good. And what helps you to feel good is different from the next person. So I'm going to give you a bunch of prompts and some action steps to take from this workshop so that you can execute it and customize it to your life. So if at any point in time you are confused of how to customize it and how to make this work for you, please send me a DM. Because you're on this workshop, I'm happy to give you a free coaching call, and I can help you execute this to make sure that you see the results you want to see. So I'm opening this workshop with a few pretty key questions. I want you to get really clear on why you are here. What are you here for? What attracted you to this workshop? Routines for success. Doing less and achieving more. What brought you here? And just quickly, if you have a pen and paper, write down your answer. What's the first thing that comes to mind? What brought you here? And you can pop it in the chat box as well. Anybody? Let me go into the chat box and see what's live in there. So what brought you here? So start putting in your answers, and then I'm going to go to the next question. I want to know, what does success mean to you? So in the title of this entire workshop, it's routines for success. Success to you is not necessarily success to the next person. Is it success financially, in your love life, balance, having it all? Is it success because you get to travel, you get to have a family? I need you to know what success means to you, not what everybody else tells you, to you. What would make you happy? And what does success mean? How does success differ from happiness? Why do you actually want more success? You're here for routines for success. Why do you want more? Do you feel like you're burnt out? Do you feel like you are struggling for money, for joy? Do you feel like you're overwhelmed, you're anxious? Or do you just feel like you are meant for more and there's more out there for you in this life and you're just kind of caught on this hamster wheel? Why do you want more success? And you can pop these answers in the Q&A as well. Why do you want to be more productive? So most people will tie success to productivity and achievements. So why do you want to achieve more? Why do you want to be more productive? And if you do not associate success with those two words, that's okay too. But I'm throwing it out there so that you can kind of reflect on what that means to you and if they're linked to success. And this last question is very powerful. So you can take a picture of this slide, because I want to make sure that you journal and you really think about these questions after this presentation. The last one will take the most amount of time. And it is to get really clear on what vision do you want to create for yourself? And let's just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and I want you to quickly think about, what does it feel like? What does it look like to have success? If you already had everything you could ever want, what would that look like and feel like? Would it feel like peace? Would it feel like happiness? Would it feel easy? Would you feel safe? Would you feel free? What does that look like and feel like for you? Because again, what you want for your life and your vision for your life is unique to you. So I want to make sure that I continue to connect you to the truth of who you are and not anybody else. And within this presentation, like I have already said, I want to start changing the conversation. Routines for success are about you, and I believe are really about you coming into alignment with yourself so that your business is in flow, you create more abundance, you're able to impact more people. So what that means to me is we start now integrating the business strategy and our mind, how we show up in the world. We start moving away from this hustle culture, because I don't believe in this hustle and grind, because entrepreneurship is really glorified and people make it seem so glamorous, this hustle culture, and they make you feel like you have to be up at 5 and you have to work, 30 hours a day, which isn't even possible, right? So I want to start stepping away from that and what I call the journey from your head to your heart. Stop living up here of everything we have to do and moving it to our heart. And what that means is how you show up on a daily basis. Who are you? What are you embodying? What do you stand for? And what that may also look like is being called and working and moving through inspiration as opposed to forced action. So I want you to answer this question right now. Are you currently moving and working through inspired action or forced action? And forced action meaning things that you have to do. You're just doing it because you think that you should, and you think that you need to, and you think that someone told you to do it. Or are you truly creating and following your own path? And sometimes it is easier to start even with the forced action, because sometimes action also brings clarity. So I'm not knocking either. But at some point, I want you to come into your true power, because why you're here on this earth is so unique to the next person. And in order for you to truly serve yourself and others, you need to know what's right for you. And I also bring this up here with the masculine feminine, because this has nothing to do with gender. It's just energetically. The masculine is very go, 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 do, do, do. And the feminine is a little bit more flow and ease. So I want you to acknowledge, what are you currently living in? For me as an entrepreneur, I was really living in this masculine hustle, go, 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 but I was exhausted. I felt worn out. I felt stressed. My head was always telling me, okay, what do I have to do to be successful? You got to go. You have so much to do. And until I learned to truly move into my feminine, that's when I started to truly feel better, connect to flow, connect to inspiration. And most importantly, that's when I learned to do less and actually achieve more. So when I moved into my feminine, for me personally, I was really able to double my income and find clients, my ideal clients, and see a significant change in what I was manifesting. My relationships, personal and professional, really just exploded. Can anyone else relate to that? If you can, type it in the chat box. And then the last thing, I will say this time and time again, I truly believe that we need to enjoy our journey. And I want you to think about, what do you want this journey of success to look like and feel like? For me, my life mission is inner peace. And so what's it for you? Is it peace, love, freedom, joy? And so cultivating this and making this the core and the root of everything that you do will really start changing your business, changing your life, and will help you to lead from love, lead from generosity, and just completely change your vibration. I promise you, people can feel it. So it's super important. Okay, so what we're going to chat about today, we are going to talk about prioritizing your goals. How do you do that? How do you figure out what to do and making sure you're doing it in the right order? The second thing is, how do we get you to maximize your time, achieve more in less time so that you're actually more productive? We want to then implement some routines that will specifically work for you, helping you get more success, whatever that means to you. Whether it be success in your relationships, your mind, financial, business, whatever that is. It's completely custom to you, and these routines will apply to all of the above. Then we're going to talk about what is and could potentially be getting in your way, preventing you from truly expanding and moving forward and scaling. And then lastly, we're going to get you to align to your dream life and find the freedom that you really deserve. And what does freedom mean? What does it feel like? So I want you to imagine, take a deep breath, and I truly want you to connect to that feeling of already having everything you could ever want and not having to do anything. And I want to carry this feeling throughout this presentation this evening, because I think it's really important. I kind of create this island where I've never really felt like I fit into the business world or the spiritual world, because the business is go, 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 and the spiritual can be kind of fluffy and airy-fairy. And what we're going to do tonight in this workshop is create this little island in between, where we start to bring together these practical business concepts as well as how you feel, self-development, and really creating a life that you can be super proud of and feel so fulfilled. It is super important for me to know how you feel, and I hope these tools help you to get there. So who am I? If we have not met yet, my name is Vanessa Ortali. I am a business and mindset coach. I went to the Richard Ivey School of Business. I did my business and biology undergrad, actually, and have many certifications in life coaching, psychology, mindset. I was trained with the Heart Math Institute in California. And most importantly, I'm completely obsessed with psychology and the mind. It is everything I think about. It is everything I do. And the reason I say it's the most important is because I want you to know that I try to always live with integrity and be and embody and live all the things I'm telling you. Because if I'm saying these things to you and I'm not actually doing them, I think there's a disconnect there. And so I truly want to embody that peace and freedom and love and joy that I want to give to you and inspire you to connect with within yourself also. And like I already said, my life goal is inner peace. And that's important to me, because even when I'm business coaching, my root always comes back to, how do you feel? It is not worth having $1 million or multi-million-dollar business if you do not feel good and do not enjoy it. Okay, here we go. So here is your starting point to start building successful routines for yourself in your business. So we need to collect some data. So your action step from this workshop today, first, it's to go through those questions to really start to set that groundwork and foundation so we know where we're going. And then I need you to create and collect some data. So what I want you to do over the next 7 days is I need you to track your days. I need you to track what time you're getting up. What are you doing first thing in the morning? How long is your work taking you? When do you have lunch? Like, I need you to really track hour to hour. Depends how detailed you want to be. I need you to track what you're doing. What this is going to do is be our starting point. Will give us data so that you will know, where are you wasting time? What are your key work hours? Your most productive hours? When do you need to take a break? When are you super worn out and you shouldn't be working or using a lot of brain power? When are you on your phone? Are you distracted by your emails? It's so important to have this data. Even when my clients come to me and they say, like, make me more productive or make me more successful, you need to know where you're starting. And so gather this information. And if we go on a one-on-one call together, bring this information with you. I need you to know, what are you actually working on in order to decide. I need to make sure you're working on the right things in the right order, that you're not getting shiny object syndrome where you're saying, I got to do this and I got to do this, right? I want you to do less in order to get more momentum and achieve more. Stillness is your acceleration point for success. I'm going to say that again. Stillness is your acceleration point for success. And so making sure you're working on the right things is super, super important. Also making sure that you're creating space for creativity and yourself. And we're going to go into how to actually plan out your week for success. But number one, we need a starting point. Another thing that I want to highlight here, depending on your business or what you do and what your goals are, if you're looking for more financial success and business success, it's important to also identify income producing activities and or non-income producing activities. So are you busy being busy, or are you busy doing the right things? In order to scale your business, especially in the beginning, 80% of your time should be spent on sales. What percentage of time are you currently spending on sales? If you are not spending 80%, we cannot complain about not making enough money and not getting enough clients. We got to ramp up those sales. And if you need help with sales, let me know. That's my forte. That's my jam. I love it. And so we really need to amp that up, but we need the starting point of gathering data. Now, once you've gathered data, I need you to be very clear. In order to achieve success and create your routines for success, we need to know, what does success mean to you? What are your actual goals? Are you looking to generate more revenue? Are you looking to be more productive? Are you looking to spend more time with your family? Are you looking to get more clients? These goals are specific to you. And then we can build your routines around these specific goals. Because if your goals are about health, yet we're building your routine just to work and are not taking into consideration your food, your workout, and your lifestyle, then there's a gap. Everything has to be very cohesive and consistent. Now, I also want you to note, on a year, month, week, and daily basis, what does a win look like? So sometimes people find it hard to determine what success means to them and what their goals are. So then I just ask you, in a year's time, if you were to sit down with me in a year, what would be a good year for you? What would you be happy with? Because so often we don't realize what we're doing. And then we always are just chasing the rabbit. We're just go, 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 go. And I don't even know if that's a saying, chasing the rabbit. I make up stuff all the time. But I need you to think about, okay, a year from now, what would I be happy with? What would be a win? And then work backwards. Okay, a month from now, what would be a win? If a month from now I sit down, what would I be happy with? And then a week, and then a day. And this is how we're going to start to plan out your routines for success to make sure we're keeping you accountable to your goals. All right, so now that we have our goals and we've really looked at what do we want to create, we have our data, we know where our leaks are, we know where we want to make some improvements, our bottlenecks, we know where our goals are, we can align those two, and we can start planning for your routines for success. So the most important thing, like I always say, and like I've said already many times, this is completely custom for you. You cannot cheat on this action step because you are unique, you are different, and we need to make sure we account for that. I want to make sure you're doing the right things in the right order. So oftentimes when I'm working with clients, and the reason they're not making money or finding clients is because they're working on things they should be doing 5 months in, or 5 years in, 10 years in, and they're just trying to do too much too fast, and they're not building that foundation and that revenue in the beginning. So if you haven't seen my presentation on how to make 6 figures in 6 months, I go through all the things you need to do right away. So DM me if you want to see that presentation, and just let me know that you were on this presentation and you'd love to see 6 figures, make 6 figures in 6 months, and I'll send you that workshop as well. I also talk here about shiny object syndrome. Are you always looking at, oh, I'm going to build a course. Oh, I'm going to build a product. Oh, I'm going to start shipping something. Oh, I'm going to have a fashion line. Oftentimes, here, I'm going to say it again and again, we want you to do less to achieve more. I want you to focus, stay very focused, laser focus, have those blinders on. I need you to focus on less so you can achieve more. If you aren't sure what to focus on, please reach out to me and I'm going to help you. We will go into that in a little bit more detail in this workshop tonight. But if you are not clear after this workshop what you need to work on, please let me know. I also want to highlight, in my experience, I see 2 types of people that I work with. Number 1, there's the person that is super action oriented, go, go, go. She is a go-getter. She does a million things, and she's really caught in that action. Like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And she kind of gets caught in that cycle of do, 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 and go, go, go. I was there. So that was me. We don't necessarily have a hard time taking action. Sometimes we take too much action and also don't know what items to take action on. Then we have the people who are maybe procrastinators, who like to live in the flow, who are easy breezy, but then in their mind, they get a little bit of analysis paralysis. They don't know where to start, so they just don't start. And so at the root of both of these people, there's fear. There's fear of, I have to do all these things to be successful. And then there's fears of, I don't know what to do to be successful. So we're going to talk a little bit more about fear, because at the end of the day, routines, business, it is very simple. What is going to get in your way of success is your mind. In order to stop playing small and actually reach your full potential, you're going to need to get uncomfortable. You are going to need to grow, and you are going to need to do things you've never done. Right? And I know it can be scary. You're going to need to work through shit that's going to come up, because whether you're an entrepreneur or working for other people in business and in relationships, everything is such a gift, because it will bring up triggers. And you may be laughing as I say this. It will bring up triggers in you that you didn't know were there, or you didn't know were still there. And it's always an opportunity to work through them. And we're going to talk about how to identify some of those fears and triggers. I have another workshop on how to process those emotions. So let me know if you need some help with that, and I can send you that. I did that a few weeks ago, so I'm happy to send you that as well, on steps to process and start shifting your thoughts and emotions, because they'll really get in your way here. And then I need you to know your priorities and goals. And I say this because it kind of links and goes full circle to the customize for you. If your goal right now is scaling your business, honor that. If your goal right now is expanding your network, honor that. If your goal right now is your family, honor that too. It is okay to not do it all. You don't have to have a thriving social life and a thriving business and a thriving love life and. I need you to know what you want and what's right for you. It's okay to let some things go at certain points in time, as long as you're making a conscious decision to do so. I think when we get in trouble is when a year, 2 years passes and we're going, how the heck did we get here? It was never a conscious decision. So I'm asking you these questions tonight so you start thinking, okay, what are my priorities? And setting up that time, whether it be every month, every 6 months, to reevaluate, are my priorities still the same? If you're really focused on expanding your love life right now, then that's okay to be a priority. And once we know what those priorities are, it'll make it a lot easier to plan your routines for success. If you don't know what your priorities are, the next few slides are also going to help you to figure that out. So this is an action step. So write this down or take a picture of this slide. This is a really unique way to look at a to-do list. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a sheet of paper and you're going to create 3 columns. In the first column, you're going to title me. The second column, you're going to title universe. And the third column, you're going to title fears. And you can do this for a week, a month, or daily. So you decide on the time frame, and I'll show you why it's important. On your me list, so I do this daily, and then have a general one for my week and my month, and you'll see why. Under my me list are things that I have to do that day. Think about it right now. What do you actually have to do tomorrow? Really? Maybe it's sending an email, getting on a phone call. The things that we have to do are not usually that, the list isn't very long. It's usually 1 to 4 things maybe that you actually have to do. If you have more, talk to me, and the next couple exercises will help you break that down. Then on the next column, universe, I want you to write everything else. And the reason I separate them into me and universe list is because I want you to take the pressure off. I want you to be more realistic with the things you actually have to do. And then when you take them off your shoulders, it alleviates so much stress. It takes away that added pressure. And then when you have free time, you get to look at that universe list and you get to think, what do I want to do? What it would be exciting for me to do today? And the other thing that makes it really fun putting it on a universe list is when you put it on the universe list, you'd be amazed how often things get ticked off. The person that you were supposed to call calls you, or things happen. I need you to start realizing, especially in business, that it's not just you. What if the world was conspiring for you and helping you and working as your little workers out in the world without you? That's amazing, right? Stop trying to do it all. And we'll talk a little bit more about outsourcing later too, but we need to stop worrying about doing it all and start doing less to achieve more. And we're going to talk about this over and over, okay? And then in the third column, I want you to indicate some fears that are coming up for you with those tasks. And it's important to acknowledge these fears so you can start to soothe them and they're not just hanging out in the background. Because just because you're not acknowledging them doesn't mean they're not there. When we truly acknowledge our fears and acknowledge our emotions, we're able to move past them, we're able to move through them, and you're able to truly dream big and live big. Stop living small and allowing your fears to run you. I want you to also consider now when you do this list, okay, your next step, when you do your to-do list, I want you to start looking at themes. Are there themes that are consistent in your life right now that you're working on? For example, are you working on launching a course? Are you working on launching a product or finding more clients? Start looking at the themes because these themes are how we're going to identify your priorities moving forward. And if these themes on your to-do list do not coincide with the priorities, so if you're looking at your to-do list and your schedule and you're thinking, well, my priority right now is to find a partner and or to have a family or to travel, and then the things on your list do not line up with those priorities, then we also need to make some shifts. Okay, so all of these workshops and all of these exercises are going to help to make sure that you're in alignment with what's actually going on up here. Is this helpful? Great. Okay. Keep popping in some questions if you have questions, and we're going to get to them at the end. Now, again, I ask this question. We always come back to, what would it feel like to have nothing to do? And I say this because when it comes to business and when it comes to our mindset, they're often separate. we can meditate and we can do all these things to get into alignment, and then work starts and business starts and we get into work mode, right? Can you relate, right? We get into this like go, go, go and do, and we forget about all of that. We need to start bringing it back. I need you to start working with intention. I need you to start living and embodying who you really are in your business in order to see success. Stop wearing different hats. I need you to be you. And there is a place for you in business, I promise. And so how that's connected to this question of what would it feel like if you had nothing to do? It's about mastering your mind. Whether you have nothing to do or something to do, it's all up here. And how you feel, that difference of I have so much to do and that overwhelm and stress versus I got nothing to do, I'm just chilling. It's all up here. So if you can feel as if you have nothing to do, even when you have a full day's work, how powerful is that? I want you to start choosing how you show up and choosing how you feel in every single activity. And in the beginning, it might take a little bit more effort because before each activity, you might be thinking, okay, how do I want to feel? And what do I want to bring to this activity? And what do I want to bring to my day? When I first really started my mental Olympics, what I call it, before every email, before every phone call, I would set an intention. How do I want to feel? What do I want to bring into this? And now it's just something that I do naturally. But it did take a little bit more practice and intention to set my intentions when I first started this. Is this resonating with you? Because I really, like I said in the beginning, want to start changing the conversation around productivity and success so that we can marry the two of business and mindset. Now, once you have your to-do list, I talked about the themes. These themes are going to help you to build your 3 big rocks, doing less to achieve more. So what does that mean? If you've seen, and you can look this up on YouTube, there's a gentleman who has a vase with sand and rocks and water, and he keeps it all to the side and says, okay, fit all of these things into the vase. And nobody can fit it. The only way that you can actually fit everything into the vase is to put the big rocks first, then the little rocks, then the sand, and then the water. If you put the water and then the sand and then the rocks, the big rocks don't fit. So you have to put those big rocks in first. Know your priorities every day, every month, in order to fit all the other stuff in. So that, and those will set your benchmark. They'll set your boundaries. So if people start to ask you to do things, or you get an idea, oh, I should do this, right? You get that little shiny object syndrome. You can come back to, is this one of my big rocks this month? If it isn't, it's going to have to wait till next month. And you just say, I would love to, I can't right now, right? There may be some exceptions to this. If you get interviewed by Oprah, great, drop all your rocks and do it. But I need you to start keeping yourself accountable to your themes and your priorities for the month. If you can even get this down, honestly, if I'm working on a big project, some months I'll have 1 rock, right? When I was working on my online course, I had that 1 rock. That's all I wanted. When you are able to focus, this is also scientific, right? And I'm not going to get into all the science behind it, but I need you to start paying attention to the different parts of your mind that you're using. And when you're working on one thing and then another, and you're using different parts of your mind, it takes a lot of energy to get focused again. If you're working on the same thing at the same time, you're using the same train of thought, the same parts of your brain, you'll get momentum moving a lot faster and you'll be able to pick it up a lot faster. And this will come up again when we start setting your weekly and monthly schedule and we start looking at the activities that you're actually doing. So again, this is going to help you do less and achieve more. And what I want you to do when you look at these big rocks, because sometimes it can be very daunting. And you might be looking at these big rocks and thinking, okay, how do I launch a course? Or how do I create a fashion line? Or how do I start my own business? Just break it down into smaller steps. And if you don't even know what those smaller steps are, Start asking people, find a mentor, find a coach, interview people who have already done it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can do it unique to you, but while still following frameworks and systems that other people have already created and that have worked for them. My launching system, my emails, I look at other people and how they've succeeded, and then I kind of create my own from other people's structures, right? And that's okay. You don't need to reinvent everything. Make sure you link arms with people that you like, people that you can learn from, and then move forward. I talk about this in my networking workshop because it's so important. Who you know is really, really important. I posted about this yesterday as well on Instagram. I need you to link arms with the right people. If you do not have a mentor, if you do not have people that are in the same direction as you, that are going to where you need to do, start networking and finding those people. It will make your journey a lot easier and just a lot better for you, a lot less stress, and a lot more enjoyable. When looking at these items, right? So now we just keep building on each other. So we're talking about the to-do list, okay? And then we're looking at your big rocks. I want you to also be looking at these 4 categories. When you look at your to-do list, you can write you and I and you, and I and y, and I and I and I. Oh, I wrote not important, not important. I meant not important, not urgent. And I and you. So you can write these next to the items. And what this means is I want you to start looking at the items you're actually working on. Is this important and urgent? Is this important but not urgent? Is this urgent but not important? Is this not urgent and not important? The only things you should actually be working on are important and urgent, should be your immediate things. And then the important but not urgent, maybe that's on the universe to-do list, or maybe that's for next month. Those are really the only 2 categories that you should be considering. If it's not urgent, not important, you may consider not doing it. And this is where you kind of have to go back to your morals, go back to your goals, and look at your time is so valuable. Stop wasting your time on things you don't need to be doing and sacrificing your own happiness and your own finances and your own life for that. So I need you to know that when you say yes to something that is urgent and not important, or not important, not urgent, what is it costing you financially, mentally, and physically? Inaction and or focusing on the wrong things is actually costing you something. So saying yes to all of those friends that are asking you for help when you're trying to build your business and you can't even pay for food and can't even pay for rent, it is costing you. Stop putting yourself last. Start building that relationship with yourself again. Start trusting yourself and start really putting yourself first. Start making yourself a priority. We're talking about priorities here. Start making yourself a priority again. Because in order for you to actually show up and scale your business and scale your life, you need to be at your best. You do. I'm going to be super honest and super raw and vulnerable when I say this. You need to have me dates. You need to eat well. You need to move. You need to feel good. If you do not feel good, you are not going to show up. You need to start putting yourself first again. And you're going to see this come up when we start planning your actual weeks. Does this resonate with you? Anyone need to start putting themselves first again? Right? I know when I don't put myself first, I start feeling impatient. I start feeling cranky. I need sleep. I'm not my best self. I can't think. I have no clarity. I'm just moving. I'm moving on the hamster wheel. I'm just doing. No. Remember, the theme is do less to achieve more. In order to do less, you're going to have to know what to work on. In order to know what to work on, you're going to have to surround yourself with amazing people, and you're also going to need to be at your best. So if you don't have clarity and you're seeking clarity right now, clarity is going to come from two places. Number one, first and foremost, is you. And number two, you can obviously look around you and see who has done it for ideas, but don't copy them. The only way you're not going to copy is by tuning in. I need you to tune in. If you get nothing else from this workshop, it's just to tune into you and start making yourself a priority again. All right, so now that we've gone through all of these different tools and techniques, we're going to actually start time blocking and creating your week. So when you look at your week, what I want you to do, I'm a paper and pen kind of girl. If you want to do this on your computer, you can do this on your computer. So I want you to look at your week, and I want you to have your wake up time and your sleep time. The first thing I want you to block in your week is your personal time. Are there any personal appointments or a date night or things that you have to do? Put those in first. The reason those go in first is, again, priorities. And I want to make sure you're still living a life and you're not just working all the time, right? I've been there. I get it. Sometimes it's okay if that's your priority, but put in that personal, even if it's just one thing. Then I want you to make sure to put in your me time. The reason I separate it is because I don't want you to think that your personal time is going to the dentist. I need you to create some me time. Take yourself out on a me date. Have bath time. Now, your me time doesn't have to be a whole day. It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't care. I need you to have me time every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. I need you to breathe. I need you to go slower. Your me time, and I know you can all relate to this. You know, when you're walking or you're taking a shower, that's when you get all of your ideas. It's because you have space to create and space to know and space to get clarity and inspiration, right? Start creating that space for yourself. Then I want you to put in your work hours, right? Your work blocks. And one thing that I like to do, and this is where I'm going to share what works for me. If it works for you, awesome. Within the time blocking, I just do work time. And then my evening before, I'll say what I'd like to do in that work time. Sometimes if I'm too rigid on what I have to do in that work time, I have this little rebel in me who says, I don't want to do that. And you might have experienced the same thing. You know, when all of these books come out and they're saying, this is your perfect morning routine and this is your perfect evening routine. If I don't do it, I feel like a failure. And then I don't want to do it because I hate having to do something. So create a little bit more space and flexibility for yourself. So in my work time, I call, you don't even have to call it work time. You can call it creating time or fulfilling my purpose time, okay? And then space is the last thing. I want you to make sure you create some space. It kind of connects to the me time, but I want you to pay attention to, are you thinking that things are going to take a lot shorter time or a lot longer time? So do you end up running over when you allocate, okay, these emails are going to take me 10 minutes. Do they end up taking you an hour, right? So I want you to start paying attention to how long things take you. And I'm going to give you some more tips if you notice that things are taking you too long or too short, because there are some tips to actually help you get there. All right, this is my favorite technique with regards to getting more done and being more successful. Batch all like things together. What the heck does that mean? I need you to do all your emails at the same time. I need you to do all, and this is how detailed I am when I batch. If I have to send out a bunch of similar emails, whether I'm talking to sponsors or I'm reaching out for people for podcasts or to interview for a summit, I will actually pull up all of my windows, my email windows, and I'll put titles in. Then I will put the body in, and then I will put the email addresses in, and then I'll send it out. Do you see how I'm doing all like things together? So think about a conveyor belt or a factory. So let's take this water bottle, for example. In a factory, they don't build one bottle, one cap, put it together, put it in the box, and then build the next one. That's so inefficient. They build all the bottles, all the caps, and then they put them all together at the same time and then box them all at the same time. So I need you to do all like things together. I was talking to a client just a couple weeks ago who was having a lot of trouble with her calendar, and every week she had so many things she had to do. So if you're one of these people, when you look at your to-do list and you had 10 things that you had to do, we need to start batching, okay? What does that look like? If you, let's say on your calendar, have newsletters, videos, what else might you need to do? Content writing, social media. Instead of having to do all of those things in 1 week, start creating themed days or themed weeks. So if you can just do a week of filming, if you can just do a week and batch all of your newsletters at the same time so you don't have to worry about them for the rest of the week. I want you to start thinking about what part of your brain and what version of you is required for the tasks on your to-do list. For example, when I'm coaching, I have to be on, I obviously have to be dressed. So, and I'm talking, right? I'm a little bit more social. When I'm writing and when I'm building content, that's a completely different side of me. So what I do is I do all of my phone calls, all of my sales calls, all of my coaching calls on the same days. I do all of my content on the same days. I also take the last week off of every month from no phone calls. In those weeks, I focus on building my business. So what that does for me when I'm on phone calls, and if you're on a lot of phone calls, you know, if you're on a lot of phone calls, you barely have time to do anything else. There's a difference between working on your business versus in your business. When you're in your business, you're doing the day-to-day, you're doing the admin, you're managing clients. When you're working on your business, you're able to scale, you're able to grow, you're able to develop more products and more offers. So I want you to really start thinking about how can you batch your activities. And if you need help with batching and figuring out how to batch, let me know and I can help you plan your calendar. But it makes a huge, huge difference when you're being more productive, and it also alleviates so much pressure. Because if in your week you tell yourself, man, all I got to do this week is film videos, it's so easy. You'll probably get it done in 1 week. But if you're saying to yourself, oh, all I have to do this week is write newsletters, create my videos, create my content, create my product, it's exhausting. I'm exhausted just talking about it. So maybe you can see yourself in some of these patterns as well. Now, here's how we start bringing everything together and creating routines for success. So when you're starting to create routines for success, I want you to start asking yourself, what is the purpose of those routines? So in my morning, my purpose for my morning is to get my day all set, and it's to get in alignment and build my foundation for the day. In my daily routines, it's to keep me on track. It's to assess where I'm going and make sure that I'm getting the right things done. I will obviously need some mindset in there too to make sure my fears aren't coming up, to make sure I'm staying present. And I'm going to come back to this presence because it's big. And then in the evening, I want to make sure that I'm decompressing from my day and then also prepping for the next day, because your success for the next day will be dependent on your preparation from the night before. Your morning actually starts the night before. So even when people ask me, I want to make sure I get up earlier, that starts in the evening the night before. Now, let me just quickly mention a couple things in the day-to-day routines. So in the morning, I make sure that I do my visualization and I create some time to get into alignment. This looks different for everyone. And if you want to get into specifics, we can definitely talk about that on a one-on-one call, and we can talk about that a little bit more in the Q&A. In my day-to-day, I really start looking at what are my distractions? Am I on my phone? Am I on my emails? Do I need to keep my phone in the other room? Do I need to only check my emails morning and night? And here's this presence and focusing on the task at hand. This is really important. When you're working on your task, Are you focused on that task, or are you focused on the thing that you need to do next? Are you thinking of, oh, I have to do this later, do I have to do this? In order for you to be successful and do less to achieve more, I need you to stay very focused on the task at hand. I need you to minimize distractions. A focused mind gets more done faster. That's why they often say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person, because they'll figure out time. They have less time to do it and they won't dilly-dally. They're going to get it done. The same thing goes for you. And I'm going to give you some tips that will help you, and you can also incorporate those into your routines. And then in the evening, I want to make sure you're decompressing and you're also visualizing your next day, and you're prepping for your next day in order to make sure that the next day goes flawlessly. Okay, now here are some additional tips that you can add in order to adapt and modify your routines for success. Some of these things you might have heard of. So the Pomodoro method. If you're finding that things are taking you a really long time or you're getting bored or you're not able to focus, the Pomodoro method is great. Set your alarm for 25-minute intervals, and you're going to focus on that one task for 25 minutes, and you're going to do as much as you can in that 25 minutes. Now, in order for the Pomodoro method to be successful, you are going to have to prepare before, so that when you set the 25-minute block, you don't spend 25 minutes wondering what you're going to do. I want you to have a list of things you're going to do in your 25-minute intervals. So you're going to have 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. You can also do 90 minutes on, 10 minutes off. The Pomodoro method officially is 25-5. However, I know for me, if I'm really focused on something, 90 minutes works, and then the 10 minutes I have to make sure I get up, I move, I have some water. It is really important to incorporate that focus time and then that deliberate break time. I also have a few clients that like to gamify and put points and systems into their productivity. So they get points for specific activities. I have other clients that color code their entire calendar to make sure that they're staying on track with their priorities and their big rocks. Accountability is also huge. Find a coach, find a mentor, find a colleague, someone that you can stay accountable to if you can't stay accountable to yourself. In order to stay accountable to yourself, it's often helpful to put timelines, like I want to achieve this by this date, and then that might help you to stay accountable. Breaks, I already mentioned this. Make sure you're giving yourself breaks and space. I like to stay consistent and always be bringing in that mindset into your productivity and efficiency. I also want you to continue to be focusing on your thoughts and emotions. When you're working and when you're doing things, do you have little doubters coming in? Are you telling yourself you're never going to be successful, you're never going to do this, you're never going to get this done? 90% of and I'm going to go into some red flags. I think it's on the next slide. But 90% of the reason you're not going to do what you set out is because you're going to sabotage yourself and you're going to get in your own way. So we want to make sure we prevent that. And we also want to make sure we minimize distractions, whether that be kids, technology, partners, animals, whatever that is. Now we're almost done, so stick with me. We are doing good on time. So we only have a couple minutes left, but here are some major roadblocks that might get in your way on your journey to success. So number one, I need to make sure you just chill out. You do not need to go as fast as you think you do. I need you to enjoy the journey. I need you to focus on how you're feeling. I want you to feel good on your journey, on your process, honor where you are. Oh, that's the next one. I need you to honor where you are. I need you to stop comparing yourself to others. Because when you compare yourself to other people, you're often comparing your stage 1 to somebody else's stage 10. And then you end up self-sabotaging, and then you'll never get anywhere and you just keep going in a circle. Okay? Stop playing small. I need you to fulfill your potential. I need you to step up. I need you to shine so bright. And comparing yourself to others is just going to dim your light because people need you. I need you to be present. I need you to be focusing on the task at hand without telling yourself what you have to do next. And we do it all the time. Even on a Saturday, we're planning our Saturday. Okay, I'm going to make breakfast, then I'm going to go to the market, then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. Try tomorrow just saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to eat breakfast. And then when your mind starts going, and then what? And then what? Be like, I'm not sure. When I eat breakfast, and then I'll decide. Now, you've already planned it the night before, but you don't need to go through it over and over and over in your mind. Your mind is always either going backwards or going forwards. And if you're living in your past or you're living in your future, you're not living in the now, you're not in alignment, and you don't have clarity. So manage your mind. I also need you to start really paying attention to your vibe. I need you to vibe high. I need you to connect to that feeling that we've talked about already. I need you to connect to the feeling that you already have everything you could ever want. I need you to embody it. I need you to believe it. I need you to feel it. And I need you to live there. Instead of in the gap between where you are and where you need to go and you not being there yet. So many people live in the I'm not there yet. Let's start living in the I'm there. I feel it. I'm so there. And then we'll start seeing it really unfold, and it's just so beautiful. And here we go, not allocating enough time. So I have people that say, oh, I can do that in an hour, and they just sabotage themselves. Or the reverse. Oh, it's going to take me 4 hours. And if you allocate 4 hours, it's going to take you 4 hours. So that really will get in the way of your productivity. Saying yes to everything. That's why your big rocks are super important, because I want you to stay accountable to your priorities. Shiny object syndrome. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Remember to stay focused on what's really important. Focus on the right things at the right time so that you're able to achieve your goals. If you don't know what those right things are, please message me or find a mentor, find a coach to help guide you along the way. And then additionally, there is outsourcing. Oftentimes people outsource too quickly. I do believe it's super important to get in there to know how things work, but then you also need to find the right people, because there's only so much time in a day. And you need to stay in your zone of genius in order to make sure that you're able to achieve your goals. All right, we're almost there. Last slide. So I need you to remember you are doing great. Honor where you are. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate how far you have come. You've come a lot further than you think you do. And sometimes when we're so focused on where we need to go, we forget where we came from. We forget everything that we've done. So I want you to create in your week, create some time to celebrate, create some time to honor you, to love yourself and others, and just live in that vibe that you are already exactly where you need to be. If you already had that $1 million business, what would it feel like? If you already had those dream clients or that house or that family, what would that feel like? Be as if you already have it. I promise you it'll make a world of difference. You'll stop living in the lack and the resistance and the doubt and the fear. Don't get caught in the race of that hustle and grind and everything we're told outside of ourselves. Make sure you turn inward. And I need you to also stick with it. Business is not always easy. Life isn't always easy, let's be real. And we go through this cycle where we think in the beginning, okay, this is exciting. I want to do this. And then we go into, this is so great. It's a little bit challenging, but I can figure it out. And then we go into this place of, this is so hard. I can never do this. And then we just go back to the beginning. Okay, I'll try this. Oh, this is so exciting. And this is the shiny object syndrome, right? This is so exciting. This is great. Oh, this is a little bit challenging, but I can figure it out. Oh, I'm never going to be able to do this. Your success is determined by your ability to go through this valley of despair. Go through that. Go through the part where, oh, this is so challenging. I don't know if I can do it. If it aligns with your goals and it is in your zone of genius and you know you can do it, you got to push through. Stick with it. Please don't give up. All of these tasks we're talking about today, this is a daily practice. Stick with it. Set yourself up for success and continue to connect to you. It'll make the world of difference. And this is obviously also linked to managing your mind. Because if you can't get through this valley of despair, you're going to end up in this loop all the time, shiny object syndrome, and then you're never going to meet your goals. Go back to your goals, go back to your priorities, because I really, really want you to achieve your goals. All right, so I know I threw a lot of information at you. So I want you to quickly jot down, what do you need to start doing? What are your main takeaways from this workshop? What do you need to start doing? What do you need to stop doing? And what do you potentially need to give somebody else to do? What do you need to outsource and get off your plate? What's important, but somebody else can do it? All right, do you know what that is? You can pop it in the chat box and we can talk a little bit more about it. But what are you taking away from this workshop? If you don't actively think about what you're taking away from this workshop, you're not going to get anything and it'll be a waste of time. I want you to take something away and make sure you implement it in your life so that you actually see a difference. That's the thing. At the time of this workshop, Clubhouse is kind of starting to become popular. And there's so much great information on Clubhouse. But if you're just listening and listening and listening and never executing, this is what differentiates the leaders and the successful people from those that are just gonna continue absorbing that analysis paralysis. I need you to execute. So what are you executing from this workshop? Okay, so if you need any assistance, implementing anything, figuring out your big rocks, figuring out your next steps, please DM me on Instagram. I am Vanessa O. DM me success. Just let me know you are here and I will give you a free coaching call to help you to execute all of these activities. I truly want to see you succeed. I want to see you reach your goals, and I want to share with you everything I know to help you to be successful as well. So I'm happy to do that for you. Just a reminder, go online, go to theladiescommunity.com and click on online events or online workshops, and you'll see all of our upcoming workshops. I do them almost every week, and you can see all my upcoming workshops, and you can join and see if any topics resonate with you. If you need any other workshops that you don't see, please let me know. And I'm happy to add some additional topics in for you. If you want to see all of our past workshops, send me a DM. I know I brought a few of them up in this workshop right now, but we also do have a monthly membership or an annual membership where you get all of these workshops. We do a monthly Q&A where you get me super free coaching and I can help you with any of the questions that you have, as well as you get the library of all of our past workshops and interviews and trainings. There's over 100+ videos to help you live your most beautiful life, your mindset, your health, your business. And I know it's an amazing resource for people, especially if they can't afford a coach or they're just new to this whole thing. You can get a lot of resources there, and I know it'll help you. So thank you so much for being here and for spending this time with me. I love connecting with you all, and I hope this workshop helped you.